Some people believe you can never have too much of a good thing, but those people clearly never realized just how much salt is in a Jimmy John's sandwich. The spicy East Coast Italian features a familiar blend of salami, capicola, and provolone that never disappoints when it comes to full-bodied flavor. The nutrition is another matter. This may be the grand ancestor of the modern submarine sandwich, but it carries a legacy of questionable considerations where healthful eating is concerned. While a basic 8-inch order on French bread will deliver 850 calories, 49 grams of fat, and 155 milligrams of cholesterol, the eye-popping 3,020 milligrams of sodium is the super deal-breaker here. With the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, guidelines recommending a daily sodium intake for adults of no more than 2,300 milligrams, even the lettuce-wrapped, bread-free unwich version still has 2,550 milligrams of sodium. Not much of a reduction for a breadless sandwich. Thinking a flour wrap might work better? Think again. That brings 3,170 milligrams of sodium, more than even French bread. But the highest sodium count by far comes from the garlic herb wrap version, with 3,430 milligrams, salt that would be better off spilled than consumed.
You spilled the salt. That's what's the matter.
The Vito, with a name derived from the Italian word for life. Too bad this super stack of sorrowful nutrition possibilities is more likely to shave years off your lifespan than to add to it. The 570 calories and 26 grams of fat you'll get by ordering an 8-inch Vito are relatively modest, though the 85 milligrams of cholesterol is something of a nutritional challenge. So is the sodium. The 8-inch French bread roll version actually has the least at 1,850 milligrams, while wrapped in a flour tortilla, it has 1,950 milligrams of sodium, which is barely under your total daily allowance. But pile that stack of delicious cold cuts into a garlic herb wrap, and your sodium total bounces up to 2,210 milligrams, just under a full day's worth of what's recommended. Add in the salt from chips and a soda, and the Vito becomes an offer that you definitely can refuse.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Jimmy Cubano may conjure images of tropical escape with its applewood smoked bacon, smoked ham, pickles, and provolone, but after a few bites, your system will be wishing you'd stayed put. Sure, the 710 calories aren't the worst you could do in an 8-inch sandwich on French bread, though the 38 grams of fat are a bit high, but the 2,630 milligrams of sodium is way too high. In an unwich lettuce wrap, the count is still high at 2,160 milligrams. Wrapping it up in a flour tortilla makes the number jump to 2,730 milligrams, and going with a garlic herb wrap gets it all the way up to 2,990 milligrams. The JJ Gargantuan is another way of saying lots and lots of meat. A simplified description of the quintuple cold cut combo featuring salami, capicola, ham, roast beef, and turkey. A roundup that draws from every pen on the food farm. Let's skirt the 1,080 calories, 49 grams of fat, and 205 milligrams of cholesterol. All dietary downfalls unto themselves that compound in conjunction with one another. Once again, it's the salt that's the problem. How does this sandwich carry such a whopping 3,930 milligrams of sodium? Going with a lettuce-based unwich only brings the sodium down to 3,220 milligrams, and a flour wrap puts levels at 3,790 milligrams, which proves there's no escaping the sodium here. By the time you find out a garlic herb wrap makes the leap to 4,050 milligrams, almost twice your daily recommended allowance, it should be clear that this isn't the sandwich that nourishes your health goals. Shrink the JJ Gargantuan down to size and order something better. Who wouldn't be drawn in by the pizzazz of an Italian nightclub? It's not just the jazzy name that holds sway with hungry Jimmy John's customers. The combination of salami, ham, and capicola, dressed up with a zing of oil and vinegar, sounds like a disco for your taste buds. But when the music stops and you realize who your partner in nutritional nightlife actually is, you'll be headed for the door without waiting for the DJ to cue up the next song. Yes, it'll take a few spins around the dance floor to burn off the 930 calories, 46 grams of fat, and 130 milligrams of cholesterol you'll be eating in an 8-inch version on French bread. When the 2,850 milligrams of sodium drop the beat, you'll be wondering why you didn't check the nutritional listing online before setting foot in this club. Trimming back on the bread with a flour tortilla wrap only reduces the sodium to 2,760 milligrams, while an ultra-slim unwich with its lettuce wrapping at least gets the number down to 2,140 milligrams, which is still incredibly high. Though the Tuscan Italian sparkles with the promise of a true old-world dining experience, you'd be wise to take it off your culinary travel map. In keeping with tradition, the Tuscan Italian makes use of salami, ham, and capicola, topped with veggies and Parmesan, along with a generous helping of mayo, oil, and vinegar. But all that heft makes for a heavy lift when it comes to keeping nutrition in focus. Cue up an 8-inch French bread roll, and you're walking away with 840 calories, 45 grams of fat, and 130 milligrams of cholesterol in your main dish alone. The 2,760 milligrams of sodium on that Italian stallion only complicates things further, though wrapping it in lettuce as an unwich drops the number to 2,210 milligrams. Go with a flour tortilla and the sodium bumps up to 2,780 milligrams, while the garlic herb wrap raises it to 3,040 sodium milligrams. Take a detour from Tuscany and keep your daily salt intake in more favorable territory. Boy, the folks at Jimmy John's never seem to run out of clever sandwich names. You know what they do run out of? Healthy options, especially with the Billy Club waiting to clobber your digestive system with a 1-2 combo of bad decisions. Its mix of ham, roast beef, and provolone sounds like a classic deli delight until you read the fine print. A basic Billy Club on 8-inch French bread bops you in the stomach with 810 calories, 32 grams of fat, and 110 milligrams of cholesterol. You're also taking in 2,360 milligrams of sodium, just over your advised 2,300 total milligrams for the day. Go for a flour wrap and watch that number drop to 2,220 milligrams. Still more than you should be surrendering to in a single sandwich. Season things up with a garlic herb wrap, and you've got 2,480 sodium milligrams. Woof.
That's enough damn salt there, Willie.
I know what I'm doing.
It sounds like a classy little get-together. A sandwich named in honor of a country club? Turkey breast and smoked ham dressed up with their finest provolone cheese, with a dab of mayo and classic lettuce and tomato adornments. Scratch beneath the surface, though, and you'll find the upper crust yearnings are just an illusion, cast on top of some unsavory nutritional truth. Delivered in an 8-inch French bread carrying case, the Country Club bestows 780 calories, 30 grams of fat, and 100 milligrams of cholesterol upon the temple you call your body. Sprinkled throughout are 2,350 milligrams of sodium, dialed down to 2,210 milligrams if you opt to wrap the goods in a flour flatbread instead. But choose the garlic herb wrap to add extra flavor, and you're also elevating the sodium content to 2,470 milligrams. You should aspire to greater health and better sandwich selections, like people at the high-end clubs do. Beware what lurks in the dark heart of the Hunters Club, for this sandwich is peppered with traps and snares, waiting to take your health asunder. In other words, it's got a lot of roast beef, which means you'll have to fight tooth and claw to keep your nutritional needs in peak form. An original 8-inch on French bread is your ticket to 830 wild calories, 34 savage grams of fat, and 130 untamed milligrams of cholesterol. A nutritional safari through a thicket of dangers. Like all of their other sandwiches, though, the Hunters Club is packed with salt. The regular version has 2,080. A flour wrap will take it down to 1,990 milligrams, but head toward a tastier garlic herb wrap, and the fiend unleashes 2,250 milligrams of sodium. It's safer to shoot down the Hunters Club from the beginning. Et tu, Caesar? Yes, it's true that anything carrying the Caesar label in a restaurant probably isn't destined to be your best bud in the realm of nutrition. It just so happens that Jimmy John's Chicken Caesar's take on the creamy, zesty combination is particularly unfriendly to your health, in every wrapped or sandwich disguise it wears. If you choose to get the Chicken Caesar with 8-inch French bread instead of in a wrap, it will get you 930 calories, 49 grams of fat, and 95 milligrams of cholesterol. That's nearly half a day's calorie count, almost a full day's fat quota, and almost a third of a day's worth of cholesterol. And the 2,330 milligrams of sodium exceed the recommended daily allowance, none of which leaves you much wiggle room for your other meals. Give up the French bread for a flour wrap, and the sodium scales up to 2,350 milligrams. Go for garlic herb, and it leaps to 2,610 milligrams, all of which is enough to make even the most even-tempered diner say,
"Freaking Jimmy's John's!"
The Beach Club might sound like the kind of sandwich you pick up on your way to watch the waves and shoot the curls on your longboard. But even with the turkey and avocado spread lending a golden California glow, adding this heart unhealthy concoction to your picnic basket means waving goodbye to sunny times for your dietary upkeep. On 8-inch French bread, you'll be diving into 850 calories, 39 grams of fat, and 95 milligrams of cholesterol. These aren't the worst figures to contend with, especially considering that some of those fat grams come from healthier avocado fat. But the salt in this sea comes out to be 2,050 milligrams, almost a full day's exposure. A flour wrap brings the sodium down to 1,910 milligrams, which is a tad less turbulent. But a garlic herb wrap plunges you headlong into 2,170 milligrams, which will have you swimming in the wrong direction. Skip the Beach Club altogether and find healthier options instead. Don't be deceived by the lure of garlic and herbs added to chicken dressed with jalapeno ranch. These robust aromatics may ordinarily be part of a healthier profile, but in the case of Jimmy John's Jalapeno Ranch Chicken, they are a deceptive device that throws cover over one of the more compromising creations on the wrap menu. In this instance, choosing a tortilla over a bakery roll isn't going to save you from nutritional heartache. The regular wrap version contains 860 calories, 50 grams of fat, and 95 milligrams of cholesterol, along with 1,830 milligrams of sodium. Unusually for a Jimmy John's sandwich, if you swap out the flour wrap for the 8-inch French bread sandwich version, you actually end up with a slightly healthier meal, as it has 6 fewer grams of fat and 20 fewer milligrams of sodium. Opting for the garlic herb wrap instead, though, takes that sodium number even higher up to 2,090 milligrams, which is obviously the wrong direction. Go for a lettuce wrap and the sodium drops to 1,260 milligrams, which finally gets you into a more favorable range. Still, there are better possibilities on the Jimmy John's menu that don't require this sort of nutritional negotiation.